Hey, welcome to the OBL Hockey Podcast, Episode 4, Season 2. I'm your host, PZ. Joining me today, Tommy Z. Tommy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Big fan of the show. Thanks for having me on.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of the show since very first episode. Maybe that comes from you being my father, or maybe it becomes from being a member of Old and in the Way.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. This is the debut of the Double Nickel Studio. I hope everybody likes it. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. So Thanksgiving week edition. You're home for a few days, which is nice. We'd like to just remind everybody, if you're watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to subscribe or follow. Leave a comment. If you feel like a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would be amazing. Preview of what's coming up. We'll get caught up on our NHL teams with the NHL Roundup, injuries, who's playing good, who's not, who got beat 9-3 last night. We're going to talk about the Olympics and get an update on the U.S. team, the Canadian team, some rumors that's happening around those two respective teams. And going into the tournament, it's 1-2, either U.S. or Canada, depending on who you're talking to. And of course, we're going to get caught up on Old and in the Way. We have had a couple games since the last pod, so we'll get caught up on that. And we're going to talk about Thanksgiving and what we're thankful for.
Great.
So let's get into the NHL Roundup. Today, because Tommy Z is in the house, we're going to start with our Chicago Blackhawks. So, Tommy, tell me how you feel about the Blackhawks start this year. They're 10-7-4, got 24 points. They are in wild card position right now. So tell me what you thought about the Hawks this year.
So far this season, it's been refreshing to see a team not getting beat 9-3 week in and week out. It's fun to watch, seeing the locker room liven up and the guys bond together. That's a huge reason why they're looking better on the ice.
I agree. Big surprise. They're sitting with 24 points. Not really surprised that Connor Bedard's up there with points, but he's with the league leaders, McKinnon, Makar.
Even leading for a short period of time.
Pleasantly surprised so far with the Blackhawks. They are fun to watch. There's a buzz in Chicago about the Hawks. There's a buzz at the United Center. A few weeks ago, when Maddie was on the show, we talked about the Blackhawks Blues game when the Blackhawks beat the Blues 8-3, I think, had a big number. Going into that, you're going to have a game like that every now and again. So last night, that was the Hawks game. Even the night before, I think that was their first back-to-back of the season. The night before at the United Center, they're playing Seattle. They blow a 2-0 lead and end up losing. Then they hop on a plane, fly out to Buffalo, and get beat by the Buffalo Sabres, who is a team that they should beat. One of the lowest records in the Eastern Conference. And they go in there and stink up the joint for 60 minutes, 9-3. Now, you'd think if you didn't watch the game, wow, the goalie must have played bad. But he really didn't. He was hung out to dry on a few of those. Once it starts getting to a point, you could just tell the whole team, you just lose interest.
So even in the first half of the first period, when the game was still 0-0 and the shots start piling up, you could feel it coming.
Yeah, you could. The Hawks they didn't look sharp. They look like they played the night before, heavy legs. But these kids half of them are under 22. So no excuse from that level. Listen, there are games that are going to happen throughout the season. I think if I'm Jeff Blashill in the locker room, it's not going in there and kicking over the table and screaming and yelling. That's one where you come in and say, let's flush this one. It's gone. Let's focus on the Colorado Avalanche. Not a great game for the Hawks. So probably two Hawks that really showed up. Connor Bedard and Tyler Bertuzzi. He's been having a great year. Jeff Blashill must have the secret recipe for Tyler Bertuzzi to play great in Detroit. That's where he got his name. He is playing inspired hockey this year. Do I think they're a playoff team? I don't. But am I hoping? Yes, I am. We'll just have to see what happens the rest of the way for the Blackhawks. We'll catch up on the Colorado Avalanche, our home city team. They are leading the NHL with 33 points, 14-1-5. They have been lighting up pretty much everybody that they've been playing. How do you feel about the Avalanche this year, Tommy?
I think that their record speaks for itself. They're really hot. And it's not crazy to think Nathan McKinnon is the best player in the league right now.
He's amazing. So fun to watch. We'll have to do a game there pretty soon. some key injuries for the Avs. Nichushkin is out kind of day to day, week to week. Logan O'Connor is out. For the Avs, I think they're just going to continue to roll. Hopefully those injuries are short term and they get the guys back. And it's a key part of the season because you really see what kind of depth you have. Players like Makar and McKinnon, both on the Olympic team for the Canadians. It's keeping the momentum rolling. The Olympics, breaking up the season. You've got guys pushing to get on that team. And fun following the Colorado Avalanche. We'll see them in Chicago. Let's go Hawks.
Yeah, that's a game I always look forward into the season when the Avs play the Hawks.
Absolutely.
Hawks fan from Chicago. They usually end up being pretty good games.
Many years that we went to Ball Arena as Blackhawks fans. For 4 straight years, the Hawks lost both games when they came to Denver. And we finally saw the Hawks win at Ball Arena last year. So that was fun. We'll get on to Maddie's Blues. They're coming back, but started out slow. 6-9-6, which is a weird record. 18 points. I still think they're a playoff team. They've got Jim Montgomery behind the bench. They've got veterans on the team. Have you watched the Blues at all this year?
Not much. I don't really pay attention to the Blues.
Good boy. We'll get caught up on our other teams. The New Jersey Devils. Injury update. Big injury update over the last week. The Jack Hughes finger cutting incident at the team dinner. What happened? What's your theory?
I have information beyond just the hockey world. So Frank the Tank is a sports journalist, I say you would call him. Big Devils fan, got the opportunity to go to the Devils team dinners exactly when this happened. And he has claimed for many years that his family and himself is cursed.
Really?
Yes. He says that he brought this cursed energy into this team dinner, which led to what I have heard has been described as a freak accident involving some glass.
Yeah, weird. Jack Hughes, a friend of the show on IR, he had surgery on the finger. Both Jack and Luke and Quinn out in Vancouver. We're hoping for a speedy recovery for Jack. Get back on the ice. They need him. They've been playing some really good hockey. 13-6-1. They're right up there in the hunt in the Eastern Conference. So we'll keep an eye on Jack, see what happens with the finger when he gets back. Now we'll put Greggy's Bruins in the Eastern Conference. They are 13-6-1. They get 27 points. They are rebuilding. And as Greg pointed out in earlier episodes, they've got a lot of young big kids playing a hard checking game, and they've been winning. Good for all the chowder heads out there.
Yeah, the Bruins have always been a hard, scrappy team.
Another original 16 that we've been following too, because we've got friends at the show north of the border. Montreal Canadiens started out really hot, cooled off a little bit down the stretch. They're really fun to watch with great young kids like Noah Dobson, Lane Hudson, Cole Caulfield. Young team, made the playoffs last year. I'm not worried about them. I just am having a lot of fun watching the Canadiens this year. Fun to pull for, how cool is it? Original 6, Canadian and French Canadian. Really cool. Keep an eye on the Habs. Let's talk Olympics. In February, we got the Olympics in Italy, and people have started to talk about the rosters, especially U.S. and Canadian rosters. All those guys are in the NHL. Now all the banter is starting to pick up about who's going to make the team. For the U.S. team, you've got Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, and both the Tkachuk were named to the original roster.
Yes, they were.
You've got players playing well this season, Cole Caulfield being one. Is he going to be on the team? Is Trevor Zegras going to be on the team? Who do you think is a sleeper that, isn't on the U.S. team right now that could possibly make it?
I would say Trevor Zegras, adding that creativity. He's maybe one of the best in the league, pulling crazy stuff off you don't see out of anybody else. An advantage the U.S. could build around and almost make their identity.
I've heard some people talking about Matthew Schaefer.
He's off to a hot start.
He had a great performance in the juniors, leading the Rookie of the Year voting right now in the NHL. Up in the air. And there's so many good players on both U.S. and Canada. It's going to be hard to pick. I was listening to Tony Granato on the CHGO Hockey Podcast with Jay, Mario, and Greggy. He was saying he's been on the Olympic staffs before. He was saying how much it really depends on the coach. So you've got Mike Sullivan. What's he going to think? What are his best 5 guys for a power play? What are the best 3 guys if you have a 3-on-5? Or who are the best 6 guys if you pull your goalie? Just an interesting take. There's so much talent. You can't put everybody on the team, and there just needs to be decisions that are made. And one of the things, too, Blackhawk related, that some people have been talking about is goaltending. Connor Hellebuck is a lock. From there, who comes next? Jake Ottinger, probably. And then you've got Jeremy Swayman. But there's Spencer Knight in Chicago is playing lights out. And Tony Granato, again, was saying that the U.S. camp has been in touch with Spencer's camp and the Blackhawks possibly being ready for an injury. Interesting. There is some things to watch leading up to this. Going into the tournament, one thing to watch is the injuries. This year, it seems like there's just been a big uptick in injuries.
It does.
I don't know. I don't know if it's me, but looking at the U.S. alone, Austin Matthews is out. Charlie McAvoy is out. He's recovering. He took a puck in the face. I don't know. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was nasty. We talked about Jack Hughes being out on IR with his finger. Injuries are just something that we'll need to watch on the U.S. team because those are key players. I don't know if the U.S. roster looks unbeatable on paper, but going back to the Four Nations tournament, those were some great games. That's a preview of the Olympics in Italy. Moving on to Team Canada, you've got blocks in there, of course, Cale Makar, McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby if he wants it, Braden Point. The question with the Canadians is who they don't take. Do you know any guys on the line they're talking about?
There's a big debate of they should take both Celebrini and Bedard or either one of them.
Yeah. If Connor Bedard continues to play like he's been playing, he's got a real good shot.
Yeah, both of those guys. It's hard to say they don't have a good shot when they're up there in the league for scoring. And Bedard's had a real 180 with this game this year, defensively especially. He's been really stepping up.
And his speed has been noticeably different, faster. His grit, he's come out. He's got a chip on his shoulder. The A on his sweater, for the first time, he's really taken to that. So, yeah, Celebrini, Bedard. It'll be interesting. Fun stuff to watch leading up to the Olympics. Goaltender situation in Canada, which has always been stellar. There's been a standout. The goalies for Canada have always been solid.
There's been a real uptick in European goalies coming into the league and performing well.
There's no clear superstar number one goalie for Canada. The goalies they've been talking about on Team Canada, you got Skinner, you got Binners, you got Hart if he makes it back. If Canada doesn't win gold, it might come down to,
Yeah, I think so too.
Head-to-head matchup like we saw last year in the Four Nations. For the first time in decades, the U.S. might actually be deeper than Team Canada. So that'll be something to watch out for. And Canada have three of the best weapons in the National Hockey League right now. Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, and Cale Makar.
Just hearing those three names on the same roster makes you think it's going to be hard to beat.
If Canada doesn't win gold, it might come down to tending. Another story we've been watching are the toys, Matthew and Brady. Matthew has been on long-term IR with the abductor tear, but Brady's been playing great. These two are going to make Team USA. They are the heart and soul, going to be the leaders and lead by example. And I love watching both of those guys and seeing them on the same team.
That first game in the Four Nations tournament last year with those three fights showed how much the Chucks love to play hockey for the United States of America and made everybody excited for the Olympics this year.
We'll be keeping an eye on the Olympics and the teams. Fun to watch. So U.S., good problems and roster building, talented core. They will be really stacked, and staying healthy is going to be the trick for them. Canada, they got to get the roster list trimmed down. They got the right people locked in, like Makar, McDavid, McKinnon, obviously. Like we talked about, goaltending is going to be key for them. The U.S.-Canada head-to-head storyline is heating up. Tommy, which team has the edge right now?
I would say I think Team Canada probably has the edge, but the USA is going to come in there and disrupt everything and bring home gold.
I think the U.S. is going to win gold as well. We'll see what happens come February. This is our favorite part of the show. This is when we talk about our beloved South Suburban Adult Hockey League. Over there in Highlands Ranch at the South Suburban Sports Complex, sometimes at Family. We're undefeated at Family this year, game after the next one. Tommy, you've been in the room. You know the vibe. Right now, we're sitting at 3-5. We've got 6 points, tied with the Whalers in that 5 to 8 category. Definitely not at the bottom, ahead of Callahan Auto. We've got a better record than them right now. So since the last pod, we've had a few games. And the last time we talked, we were heading into the game with the White Russians, a new team in the league. We won that game. There was actually a time in that game that was run clock. Yep. We won 8-4. The big story is Matty McGavin's hat trick. First one as an Old in the way. Matty's been on the team most of the time. Matty gets the last OBL Hockey Pod hat until the new ones come in. Yes, it is nice. But that game against the White Russians, a nice one to have, getting a lot of goals. Matty McGavin comes in with the hat trick. Joshy had double deuce. Greggy Jackson had 2 goals to double it up. Feeling good about that. Third period run clock is nice, but they ended up getting a goal late, which is fine. Shawnee played great as usual, and it was nice to get back into that win column. So the boys were feeling good after the game. No talks about nice guys or anything. After that, we played one of the perennial champions of the league, the Fat Pucks. I wasn't at the game. Matty wasn't at the game. We beat the Fat Pucks 3-2. We were leading the game, and they caught us. These are some highlights of what I was told. They were leading most of the game. The Fat Pucks came back in the game. At the end of regulation, it's 2-2, tied. Shawnee, a game-saving stop right at the buzzer.
That's not out of character for Shawnee.
It's not. To force it to a shootout, and we prevailed in the shootout to take the 2 points in the South Suburban Adult Hockey League. We beat the White Russians. We beat the Fat Pucks. That's a winning streak. We're on a heater. You're great for the boys to beat the Fat Pucks. I know they're really happy after the game. There's some common threads through the two teams, some rivalry, some other hockey dads, what have you. But to beat the Fat Pucks, that's always great. It gave us confidence we can beat anybody in the league. Coming in with momentum this week with the game against the Thunderbirds. Now, for those of you that don't remember the Thunderbirds, so this was the team a couple of years ago that stole our best player, Brendan McFall. Great guy. He's a teacher. Salty, we miss him. He's welcome back anytime, but we won't steal him like the Thunderbirds stole him and tried to steal Sean last year. We get off the ice and they're talking to him.
Who's not so great is the captain of the fucking Thunderbirds, because what ended up happening is he took our guy. I would have been fine if he came to me and said, you guys are old and in the way. Brandon is a young, fast, leading scorer. So it makes sense you would want to play with some younger guys. I totally get it. Nothing against Brandon. He'll always have a spot on Old in the way, because it's pretty special in that locker room. And Old,
Playing him because Sean's got to be the best tender in the league.
Is there any sense of sportsmanship of maybe go talk to the other team's captain, maybe go talk to the other team's co-founders to see if it's okay? They can talk to your goalie. Our first game against the Thunderbirds this year, and we did not win. It looked like a blowout. At the end of the first period, they were up 4-0, the T-Birds. Brendan scored 2 of the goals, and they also had a couple other young kids that are really good. We had Taylor in goal, and he played great. The shots for the Thunderbirds game, 22. That's pretty good for 52. Now, the end of the game, the score was 11-7. But I said after the first period, it was 4-0. After the second period, it was 6-4. We won the second period. Scored 4 goals. They had a couple of goals in there, but we're 6-4 going in the third period. That's boom. You're 1 goal. You're right back in it. But they got a couple quick ones. We started to come back, and I scored a goal.
I don't think that should come as any surprise.
First goal of the season. Nate is taking the puck into the zone, and we all know Nate and his speed. He's getting it wound up, cutting towards it, and he catches an edge or gets clipped a little bit and goes crashing into the boards in the corner. Everybody stops, but the puck is coming right towards me. So I step up, top of the circle. The goalie did not stop, the goalie from the T-Birds. I asked him. He did not stop, and he saw me getting ready to shoot, and I got it right under his right pad, down low, put one on the board. I had a penalty too, so I was on the score sheet twice. Final score was 11-7. So we came back. We made it respectable. We had 9 guys. They had 8. 5 of our 9 guys, including myself, Maddie, Captain Brad, Guy, Greggy, and Neil, all over 50. So that's 6, actually. Neil is not 50 yet. I'm sorry, Neil. You're in mid-40s. And their average age had to be 30, maybe.
Yeah.
25. I played on Joshy's team, the Misfits. that play over there in South Suburban in the D2 league Monday night. And we played these kids, the ACHC. So allegedly, these kids played club hockey, and we're all good in their early mid-20s. And watching them warm up when we were playing with the Misfits, Maddie played. It's Joshy's team. Nate is on that team. Taylor, the goalie who played for us against the T-Birds, he's the goalie for that team. And looking at that team warming up, I was like, whoa, this might be a long night. It was 1-1 until a minute and a half left in the third period, and they got one in, a scramble, greasy goal. So the game ends 2-1. A lot of fun playing with the Misfits. Joshy, anytime I can make it after I get back, would love to come out with the boys again. A lot of fun. But two of the kids on the Thunderbirds were ACHC alum. I got those kids twice in 1 week. They were played at very high levels, including ACHC. But some bad news coming out of the game. A few weeks ago against the White Russians, I made the decision, and if you listen to the last pod, that I was wrestling with, should I stay on D? Should I move up to wing and just really be helpful and be in the best position? I moved up to wing. It was great. I asked Sean between the first and second period, is it nice not to see number 55 in your face? Sean said, it's fine. Keep playing. But at the end of that game, I'm skating up the boards, and John, new guy on the team this year, John Fulton, Brian Balatovic's nephew, he's coming up the boards and it clips him. Their sticks take my legs out and I fall on my right hip. Not the first time I've fallen on my hips before. It was a pretty hard hit. I had a nice bruise. I woke up in the middle of that night with just big contusion, but I was able to rally back, played that Friday with extra padding, then played Wednesday against the T-Birds. First period, one of those kids from the ECHT alum takes a shot. He's fast rolling, and he runs into me and takes me out. I fall right on that hip again. I'm out for at least a week. Hopefully I can get it healed up. It's really swollen, sore, bruised. But that's fine. The problem is I've got those extra pants, those padded pants. I've been remembering to put them on because I fell on my hip. When I fall on my hip and get a bruise, I wear those padded shorts. Getting ready Wednesday night, going through my process, socks, skates, shin guards, pants. I finished tying my skates and I forgot to put the padded shorts on. And I was like, it'll be fine. I'm not going to fall on it. A few minutes into the first period, I was able to play the rest of the game. I probably shouldn't. I was sore, but I did. I played the rest of the game. Thursday, it's really swollen. I'm getting concerned. And by the end of the day, I said, you know what? I should probably go get it checked out. Good news, Old in the Way does not have a guy with a broken hip. That's good. Even though you would think no broken hip, no fracture, just a bad bruise, stay out so they can't fall on it. I'll be back. Sorry, Joshy, he did ask me to play this weekend, but I'm not going to be able to play. But we've got the week off. We got Thanksgiving coming up. The next game on December 3rd, Wednesday, shocker, Sports South Suburban against the Whalers. We are tied with the Whalers. And the reminder about the Whalers, Josh Perrone. Keep your head up, Joshy. Keep your head up. We'll see you Wednesday, December 3rd. We're going to get back in the win column against the Whalers and looking forward to getting back on the ice with the boys after this Thanksgiving break. Bummer that I had to miss the DU skate yesterday, and bummer that no ice the day after Thanksgiving. That's really DU skate. You get to sweat it out, but no skate. Looks like you and I are going running. Old and Away will be back in the win column next time, and we'll talk about it on the podcast. I'll fill you in on what happens with that game against the Whalers here in a couple weeks. Thanksgiving edition. It's a week where we think about eating a lot, football and all that good stuff, but really it's about is thinking about what we're so grateful for. And I can start out with my family, very grateful for my family and my Old and in the Way family. Those guys in that room, salt of the earth. I love every one of you. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving with your family, time at hockey tournaments. I know some of you guys got some tournaments coming up. So we thankful for goalies that show up at 10:30, especially if it's a fill-in goalie. I'm thankful for the post-game laughs, pre-game laughs, time in the locker room, memories, banter about the game, chirps to the other team. This hockey community is really great. I'm grateful for all of you, OBL Hockey community. Tommy, what do you got on your list this year?
I'm thankful for beer league games before 10 o'clock p.m. as always, I'm thankful for my great family, my dad, 3 older sisters, my mom.
Nice. So what are you going to do Thanksgiving break?
It's nice to have a week break from class, be home, chillax.
Tommy is back for the week from Boulder, crushing it in school. Wilco is here again. Thank you, Wilco, for making the appearance. We've been waiting for you. You could see his tail wagging in the back there. But we wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Grateful for the hockey community. Grateful to be able to lace them up and still get out there. So that's it for this edition of the OBL Hockey Podcast. Thank you so much, Tommy, for joining in today. I really appreciate it. Sometimes it's hard doing these by yourself, so I like to get...
Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. So until next time, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you on the OBL Hockey Podcast. Take it easy.